Hello, fish addicts. How's everyone doing today? Well, what you're looking at is my 20-gallon aqueon uh, long tank. It's my grow-out tank for my Corys. And what I have in here are the baby Corys that I hatched. And these guys are about a month old, I think. And I have, I want to say I have about 7 in here, 7 babies. They're like the albino red-eye Corys. I also have like about 4 adults. I got 2 females and 2 males. And then I also have some albino black-eyed plecos in here. They're long fin. I have 1 short fin. And let's see, I also have some salt and peppers. I have an angelfish, a neon tetra, and I think that's it. And this is my grow-out tank for my albinos right now. And that's also a grow-out tank for my salt and peppers that I have. That I actually tried to breed, but I couldn't get any eggs from, I did get some eggs, I just couldn't hatch them. So we're gonna try again, we'll see. But the albinos have been throwing eggs and I've been hatching them, and some success with the babies here. And the way I have this tank set up is I have a UV filter, basically filters out water through UV. I have 3 glasses filled with kitty litter and sea chem. It's like an iron substrate. I forgot what it's called. And I have them in the cups, and it's a form of filtration. And then I also have the air filter, sponge filters back there. I have 2 of them running. And so I have 3 forms of filtration, I guess. I mean, got the UV sterilizer in there. I got the cups. I also have a couple rocks in here. Couple sponges that were that's polyfilter, but I just leave the sponges in there as biological filtration. And then I have some plants to filter the water out. And bare bottom. And the reason why I have it bare bottom is because I feed a lot, and this is a grow out tank. And having substrate would make it more difficult for me to clean it out. And this is really not for everyone. This is more like if you're breeding Corys, and especially if you're feeding a lot, you have to be more aggressive with the water changes. So my water change schedule on this tank, I would say every other day, 5 gallons. I might do a top off of about 2 gallons like a day, or about, it just depends on the day of the week and what I'm doing with the tank. But yeah, basically aggressive in, aggressive out. And really it's not the type of setup for someone that's not home not home, or wants to basically have a self-maintaining tank. So I would suggest probably getting like a deep substrate and following Father's Fish's methods, like heavily planted. I am going to add more plants to the tank. I think I do need some more plants. I think my Corys have been eating the plants though. And the Amazon sword is not doing that great. Although I've been adding iron supplement to the water, which I think it's been helping. The water is RO water, and I don't supplement. The only supplement that I do use is the iron, like I said. And then whatever food I'm putting in basically supplements the water, and then the waste of the fish. So the Amazon sword hasn't been doing that great. I have cut down the lights quite a bit. So now I'm about 4.5 hours of light. And then of course I do have some ambient light in here that comes in because my tanks are in the garage. And what I'm gonna do today though, we're gonna talk about the update on the angelfish. I posted a little bit video. I think this is day 4 of my QT on the angelfish, bicolor angelfish from Petco. And I have it in a 3.5 gallon cube. And he's doing good. He's eating. He's not, as you guys can see, he's not twitching or scratching. He looks pretty healthy. Trying to fatten him up a little bit, and that's what I'm going to talk about, just all the kinds of different foods that I'm using for my fresh and marine water fish. And right now he's doing okay. I did see he did have some kind of, I don't know if it's like because of the handling of the fish, but at the bottom he has some kind of like a rash or something. So I ordered some Safety Stop, which is a 2-part dip. And I'm going to dip him in the 2-part dip and then put him back in here and keep eye on him. I don't have any copper in here. There's no meds in the tank. I think a lot of times people get crazy. They want to like medicate their fish. And I don't think it's necessary, especially if you see that he's pretty clean. But I would put him in a QT to monitor the fish. So that's what I'm doing right now. And again, this kind of method, I wouldn't do this if you're working or if you're not home all the time, because you do have to add fresh water for the evaporation. So I have like a little cup here that I keep throughout the day just to show you guys. But I keep a cup of fresh water right there. And then like every, I don't know, probably half the day I throw in half the cup and then the other half end of the day. And then I have done a water change on it. I did like about 20% water change this morning. And just keep monitoring and feeding. So what I found with the bicolor is she's pretty finicky. Like I'll feed one food, she'll eat it right away. But then if I feed it like the 3rd time, she won't eat it. So I have to rotate the food. Which is kind of weird because normally they'll eat the same food all the time, but this one's not doing that. But you know, as a fish keeper, you guys know that you guys end up with a lot of food, which is a bad thing and a good thing, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going to show you all the foods that I'm using. And I think I have more food. I'm not going to show you all the food, but, and then I don't want to bore you guys. But let's check out the food that I'm using. And then I'll tell you, you know, what I think of it and why I buy it. Okay, so the first one that I use is I use a Julius Springs sea veggies, basically green seaweed or nori. You could also get the nori from the store, the plain one. But I like using this, and this is kind of how it looks like. It's like a sheet. This is like sushi. This is what you guys eat too. We eat at the sushi bar. But anyhow, so this stuff runs, I think this is like about $12 for the pouch. It might have be more expensive. But this actually lasts me this probably will last me about 6 months. Just keep it closed and don't feed a lot of it, just a little bit, because that stuff will raise your PO4 like crazy, the phosphate. And so I feed that maybe once a week. My tangs and my lemon peel angel love it. This bicolor doesn't like it, and so I'm not feeding. I might try it again this week, but he is not liking it. Okay, so the next one up to bat that I have is the algae wafers from, I want to say this is they're the sinking wafers, and this is for Cory, and this stuff is great. My marine fish like it. My the plecos love this stuff. The plecos. Once I put a tab in here, man, the plecos will come and get it, and it's a good food that sinks to the bottom. And let's see, what's the next one that I got? I got Reef Nutrition. I'll show you guys both what I have. So this is Reef Nutrition TDO Chroma Boost. This is like a powder, and this is and it's like a red powder. And basically, what I do with this stuff is I mix it with water, and this is what I feed. Instead of brine shrimp, this is like the 3rd or 4th day of the Corys. I'll feed this, and they'll eat it. It's a good substitute for if you don't have any brine, or if you're making brine, you're caught in a pinch, you don't have enough brine, then this is what I use, and it's worked great. Really good stuff. It's a little bit pricey, but I think it's well worth it. And then they also have the same stuff. This is the medium pellet. This is a TDO, same thing. Has like algae. It's all protein, high protein. If you feed this, you'll get a lot of Cory eggs. This is really good stuff. I got that from BRS. The next one I got is the Sara Foods, the flake, which is, you know, it looks all the same, I guess, all the flakes, but I'll show it to you guys. So that's how it looks. This stuff is good too. All my fish like it. It's a little bit pricey again. I think it runs like $10 for this one. $10. Next one that I got is actually, this is coral food, but I do have fed this to my Corys. It's a reef food. This is really expensive. It's like $21. Like a fine powder. I don't want to open it. Same thing with this one, Reef Roids. I think this is like $15. This is a fine powder. I haven't used this in a long time. If you do use this, be really careful, because it will increase your phosphates like crazy. And honestly, I really would not recommend using that on your reef tank until maybe year number 2. Only because it's gonna create such a mess with your phosphorus. All right, next food that I got is brine shrimp. These are the cubes, and this stuff is great. My baby fish like it. The marine fish like it. Even the bicolor liked it, and the bicolor is like a little bit finicky, but she liked this stuff, so she ate it. I got some of her Cory marine pellets. These are like medium pellets. Pretty good stuff. And then I got the spirulina, the fluval bug bites. This stuff is great. It's kind of like a flake. So those are all the foods that I use. I also have some frozen food that I normally have some brine shrimp and mysis shrimp. I don't have any right now, but I guess what I can tell you is on feeding, honestly, guys, you're really better off if you can feeding very, very small amounts throughout the day. Like, really small amounts, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. It's always better doing it that way. Only because, you're always eating, like just like humans. If you can't do that, if you're working, maybe get an automatic fish feeder. And then again, don't feed a lot, And then sometimes it's okay to skip a day on feeding. Only because sometimes you might make your fish get too fat. And so it's not bad if you skip a day. I do skip days when shipping fish. If I do sell some fish, I do skip a day of feeding, which basically helps with less waste when I'm shipping fish out. And so those are my tips on feeding fish. I would probably stay away from like large amounts, dumping in a lot of food at one sitting, because it's just going to sit there and wait and rot away, especially if you don't have any shrimp in the tank or anything else to eat the decaying food. So that's my tip, just frequent feedings throughout the day. Remember, the more you feed, the more you're going to have to do water changes. So it's a balance. Of course, you don't want to starve your fish. But there's always a balance with everything. In nature and in your own life, right? So guys, that's my update. I'm gonna do another update. I just gonna let you know how the bicolor angelfish is doing. He's doing good. I don't know what's up with that little haze that he has. I don't know. I think you can see it, but in the white light, when I put the white light, you can kind of see a little bit of a haze. So, he hasn't been scratching or itching, but maybe it could be like a hookworm. It's like a little worm that's on outside of the skin sometimes. And I've seen that to where when you dip a fish, the hookworm will pop out. So maybe that could be causing the irritation. But the things with hookworms, though, you'll see like a red splotch a lot of times on the fish. So that's why I'm kind of like, and I don't think it's Uramina, because if it was that, he would be scratching himself against a rock. So I'm going to keep monitoring, and I'm going to dip him and make him a little bit fatter. But so far so good. And on the grow out tank, you guys can see my Corys are out. I think they're looking for food, or that's Big Bertha. I call that one Big Bertha. And then some of my babies are looking for food. These things are always eating crazy. But you know, with Corys, if you want to breed the Corys, you have to feed a lot, and when you're feeding a lot, then you have to do water changes. So this is more like a grow out tank. It's not really more of a, if this was like a display tank, I would probably have substrate, probably like, you know, 3 inches of some kind of substrate, heavily planted. You know, I would probably have like a canister filter on it, and make it like a really nice looking planted tank. So, you know, everyone has different wants and needs when they have a tank, and so that's where this tank is at. It's more like a grow out feeding tank. But I can tell you, I haven't had any losses since I've got this tank wet. Nothing has died. In fact, everyone's throwing eggs, growing big. I think my plecos are actually gonna start breeding pretty soon. I don't know if you guys can see my plecos, but there's one of my longfin albinos. So I have 4 of them in here, and they're doing great. They got way big, like quickly. Here's another one. So I'm hoping to have some babies pretty soon on these guys. So we'll see. Okay guys, well, I'm out of here. I'm pretty sure you guys got bored by this point at the end of my video. But I appreciate everybody giving me likes, comments. Let me know what foods you use. I know I want to use some new foods. I want to use that extreme food. And then, you know, try some other different foods as always. Okay guys, have a great day.